Today, the United States Army operates with synchronized, lethal precision. But in the late 18th century, an American soldier on the frontier was highly likely to experience combat as an exercise in blind panic, carrying an unloaded weapon into dark, confusing terrain. That lack of preparation peaked in 1791. General Arthur St. Clair marched a loosely organized force of militiamen and untrained recruits deep into the wilderness, where they were ambushed and completely dismantled. This map shows the massive, heavily forested region they were trying to secure. The United States risked losing this entire Northwest Territory and its vital access to the Great Lakes river systems to a highly effective Native American confederation. The human cost of St. Clair's defeat was staggering. The American forces suffered hundreds of casualties in a matter of hours, making it one of the worst defeats the U.S. Army ever endured against Native American forces. The disaster required immediate intervention from the top. President George Washington responded by bypassing the existing command structure and appointing General Anthony Wayne to take over. Washington and Wayne understood that sending thousands of additional untrained men into the woods would only result in more casualties. To survive the frontier, they had to engineer an entirely new type of military machine. In 1792, Wayne moved his forces to a rugged patch of land near the Ohio River. He purposefully chose a site right next to Logstown, an old diplomatic center from the French and Indian War, keeping his men grounded in the harsh realities of the frontier. Instead of pitching temporary canvas tents, the soldiers felled trees and built permanent barracks, officer quarters, defensive earthworks, and parade grounds. It became a sprawling wooden city housing roughly 2,500 troops, built entirely by the men who would live in it. They called it Legionville. General Wayne earned the nickname Mad Anthony for a reason. He was fiercely intense and demanded absolute obedience, concluding that lax discipline was the exact reason St. Clair's men had died. He subjected the troops to a grueling daily routine. Men faced constant weapons inspections, exhausting guard shifts, and marching exercises that ran from dawn until dusk. Wayne used the freezing mud and punishing isolation of the Ohio River Valley as a tool. The environment itself helped strip away their relaxed militia habits, enforcing the strict obedience required for survival. Once the men were broken in, Wayne upgraded their tactical curriculum. They abandoned basic marching routines to execute live fire drills, rapid fort construction, and bayonet charges through dense, unbroken forests. This diagram from a contemporary military manual outlines exactly how these movements were standardized. Every soldier was drilled until the complicated, multi-step process of loading and firing a musket became muscle memory. This specific illustration details the rank firing systems Wayne implemented. By assigning kneeling and standing positions, men learned to fire in coordinated rolling volleys, eliminating the chaotic individual shooting that usually got isolated frontiersmen killed. To reflect this massive structural shift, Wayne threw out the old Army title completely. He renamed his force the Legion of the United States. European armies traditionally fought in unwieldy blocks of a single troop type. Wayne broke that massive force down into highly mobile units called sublegions. Each sublegion was a self-contained miniature army, integrating infantry, riflemen, artillery, and cavalry into the same group. The men inside these sublegions were given specific visual markers and uniforms to forge a shared professional identity and separate them from the ragged militias of the past. By combining all these different combat arms into a single module, a sublegion could operate completely independently. If an ambush happened deep in the woods, the unit had the tools to pivot and counterattack instantly without waiting for reinforcements. The real test of this system came 2 years later, in 1794, at the Battle of Fallen Timbers in present-day Ohio, when Native American forces engaged them in a dense, chaotic woodland filled with uprooted trees. Wayne's troops held their ground. The sublegions maintained their formations, executed their bayonet charges, and won the field. That victory forced the Native Confederacy to the negotiating table. The resulting Treaty of Greenville ultimately opened vast tracts of the Ohio Valley to American settlement. Today, the physical camp at Legionville is entirely gone. Modern development and 2 centuries of weather have erased the wooden barracks and the earthworks. Local residents in western Pennsylvania drive past the site every single day, unaware they are passing over the exact spot where the modern professional military was born. The lumber rotted away, but the ideas survived. The rigorous drills, the absolute discipline, and the independent combined arms architecture engineered in the mud of Legionville became the foundational DNA of the United States Army.